snowy Purim here in New York, the perfect time to cozy up with a little bit of Mishnah. Happy Purim, Chavruta! If your Purim is anything like mine, then you've eaten some delicious treats, seen some very silly costumes, and read a ridiculously funny story about a wicked man with a dastardly plan who was defeated by a beautiful, heroic queen. Yes, there's no doubt about it. Purim is a fun, happy holiday. But we've seen in the first Mishnah of Perek Bet of Masechet Megillah that there may be more to Purim than meets the eye. To add to the complexity of Purim, here's a few more laws, taken from the Mishnah, Perek Bet, Mishnah Bet. Kra'as srugin umitnamnem yatsa. If you read the Megillah broken up, or half asleep, you've still fulfilled your obligation of reading the Megillah. Wait, what? Really? Really? So I can take long pauses between pereks and it still counts that I'm reading the Megillah? And even more crazy, if I'm half asleep and not even really paying attention, it can still be considered that I fulfilled my obligation. Clearly reading the Megillah is not considered so serious a mitzvah if you only have to be half paying attention. P.S. There's no way that my students would get full participation marks if they're only half paying attention. The Mishnah continues. Haya kotva dorsha umagiha. Im kiven libo yatsa. Ve'im lo, lo yatsa. This part of the Mishnah is a little more complicated. The Mishnah talks about two types of people who are engaging with the text during the time which they're supposed to be listening to the Megillah. The first is a scribe reading or editing the text. The second is an individual learning the text. I like to imagine it like this. The scribe is at his desk, painstakingly writing a Megillah. Suddenly, he looks at the clock and goes, "Oh, it's that time! I'm supposed to be in shul!" The scribe, since he is engaging with the text, can still fulfill his mitzvah of hearing the Megillah as long as he has intention to do so. So our scribe might have to say something like, "My writing the Megillah in my heart of hearts counts towards my obligation of reading the Megillah." And he's good to go. So you see what I mean? Complicated, right? In my opinion, the Mishnah is totally being lenient, saying something like, meh, as long as you have the right intention, it doesn't really matter. Reading, writing, learning, it's all the same thing. Besides, it's only Megillah reading. But I'm totally open to another reading. What do you guys think? The Mishnah has one final part. Hayak tuva besam, ubesikra, ubekumus, ubekankantum, al niyar ve'al diftara, lo yatsa. Ad shetehek tuva ashurit al hasefer ubedyo. The Mishnah mentions all these types of ink and different types of paper that can't be used when you're reading the Megillah. To fulfill your obligation of reading the Megillah must be written on a scroll in Hebrew and in a special ink called dio. The same ink, by the way, that's used to write a Torah scroll. In fact, this part of the Mishnah sounds like the mitzvah of reading the Megillah is equal to the mitzvah of reading a Torah. I mean, after all, the Megillah has to be written exactly like a Torah scroll. So the Mishnah can't be arguing that Purim is that unimportant, can it? And Chavruta, I leave you with that. Purim is definitely not so simple. So have a happy, but not just happy, Purim.